White though.
They weren't paying to see a Nikes in.
All right, Sierra, we gotta have a meeting.
He is so feisty today.
Oh, yeah. That's 5 o'clock. Time for our August 19th meeting. Commissioner Stewart, lead us invocation and the pledge.
Please stand and join us. Heavenly God, Heavenly Father, we thank you again tonight, Lord, for the grace and mercy you give us. Lord, we thank you for this beautiful place you give us to live. We call Wakulla County. Lord, I just ask that you bless us tonight with wisdom as we carry out the business of the county. We ask these things in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Tonight is the August 19th BOCC meeting. There's numerous chances to speak before the board. You can have citizens to be heard, or you can come on each item as it comes forward. We need the approval of the agenda.
To approve.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to pull item number 12 off of the agenda for this evening.
Okay.
That is the rezoning at Riverside.
Correct.
If I may move my item up under consent agenda so that we can, there's a lot of folks here.
After consent.
I'm sorry, right after consent. That's okay if the board's all right with that.
I'm good with it. Okay, we'll move that up to after consent.
Motion to approve with changes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Awards and presentations, we don't have any. Citizens to be heard, we have Sierra Anderson and Megan McNeil.
Hey you guys, you all know me. Some of you know me better than others. My name is Sierra Anderson, and I am our Northwest Florida District Director for U.S. Senator Scott. But I wanted to kindly introduce you all to Megan Myhill, who has a very similar role but with a different office. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Yes, I'm Megan Myhill, and I'm a regional director for Congressman Neil Dunn's office. We're over in Tallahassee office, not the Panama City. So if we can ever do anything for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. I have some business cards that I'm happy to hand out as well. Thank you, Sierra, for introducing me.
Do you guys have any questions for us about anything?
Megan, how do you spell your name?
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
So it's Meghan, and then Myhill is Myhill.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
We want to make sure we get people's names correct. It's more embarrassing than calling us by the wrong name.
That's all I have. Thank you guys.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. All right, that's it. All citizens we've heard. No awards and presentations.
Move consent.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. We move item number 17 up to the next item. Commissioner Stewart.
Okay, we have an item tonight that I think you've all seen and read with some of the folks. It's I don't know how many of you remember J.D. Turner,
Oh, yeah, I remember.
but he sat up here honorably and proudly for 20 years total, and he served our county well and did many things good for the county, which I tried to include in that document that we're going to forward. Mr. David Wilson's here tonight. I think he's going to speak on behalf of the family, and David Harvey. We met a while back and talked about moving this forward, so we went and met with Senator Mumford and asked him if he would put that in the way of a bill and try to move it through the legislature to make it happen. And he said he'd be glad to do that, honored to do that. He said the best way to do that was to have us just support it as the Board of County Commissioners, and then he'd take the ball from there, and it wouldn't be a county action, but it would in fact be a state action that would finally make it happen. So
I'd be happy to second your motion if you want to make it.
I move that we rename that road to J.D. Turner Highway, and that's my motion. You second?
Second.
Before we vote, I would like to allow these
Yeah,
good
yeah,
folks, if they want to take a minute, especially Mr. Wilson, David, if you want to come up and speak, or Mr. David Harvey.
I have
Okay.
a card.
Okay.
I appreciate the time, and Mike, you've been extremely gracious for your time meeting with the family. And David Wilson, the son-in-law, is here. He won, among other things, 2 state championships at Lincoln High School and graduated from Crawford High School, married one of Mr. J.D.'s daughters. And there's some other family here. He'll introduce them. But I want to give my time to him. But I did get to serve as sheriff with J.D. for most of those 20 years. He was a unique county commissioner. Like many of you, he fell on his sword sometimes and had to take the beating in the election. But ultimately, he did what was right for the county. Some very, very tough decisions that he made. Some of us are benefiting from those decisions here tonight. So he and I were very close. I actually hired him the last time he was defeated as county commissioner. I hired him to head up the litter control unit there at the sheriff's office, and he knocked it out of the park just like he did when he got the Purple Heart in World War II. He really made a big dent, and at that time was a huge issue with litter in the county and out in the national forest and so forth. I won't get into all that. I want to ask his son-in-law David to come up and talk about the history of 267 and maybe a few other things, and introduce some family members.
Mr. David Wilson?
David Wilson, thank you for the opportunity to be here. Want to introduce my wife. This is J.D. Turner's youngest daughter, and next to her is the oldest daughter, Annie Ruth Turner Perryman, and then Diana Turner, who's married to his son Charles Turner, and then some of you may know Chuck down at the end down there, his grandson. But everybody knows Chuck. Well, good. I'm here to support the resolution of naming State Road 267 in honor of J.D. Turner, and as I mentioned, I'm married to his daughter Martha. And for purposes of full disclosure, the construction of that road got Mr. J.D. Turner beat in 1964. He was District 1, I think, which is that area up in there, and he voted for construction of that road, and so people in other parts of the county wanted roads in their area, so you guys know about building roads and the controversy that goes along with that. So anyway, that road got him beat in 1964, and because it was in his neck of the woods, and so people called it, back in 1964, they called it the Turner Turnpike. So anyway, and so he lost in 64, came back in April of 1972. He, Moody Pierce, and Reverend Isaac Anderson traveled to Washington, where they represented Wakulla on the Northwest Florida Development Council. They appeared before a congressional subcommittee to request funds for numerous projects. Among the monies allocated was $167,000 for the construction of a new jailhouse. And that new jailhouse happens to be the building we're sitting in right now. So he was born in L.A., Lower Alabama, and his family later moved to the Pace area. Married with 2 small children, he left to serve in World War II. He received his Combat Infantryman's Badge and a Bronze Star for his role in the capture of a German Panther tank. His unit was on the banks of the Elbe River when General Eisenhower stopped them. His unit was the closest. They were 48 miles from Berlin, and he was the closest American, British, or Canadian unit to Berlin. His unit was. In 1948, in the stumpwood business, he moved his family to Newport. He quickly became involved in local events, and by 1956, he was so respected that he became the first outsider, somebody not to be born and raised in Wakulla County, to be elected to a county-wide office. He was a leader, and he accomplished a lot of first things. But one of his first motions as a county commissioner was to purchase a flagpole for the courthouse. And former state senator Henry W. Walker commented that this was the first time in his lifetime that a flag had waved over the courthouse. Now, can you believe that? They didn't have a flagpole in front of the courthouse, but so that was one of his first motions. And comments about the resolution before you tonight, he was the first person from Wakulla County to be selected into the Veterans Hall of Fame. He was the first person from Wakulla to be selected Lieutenant Colonel in the Highway Patrol Auxiliary. As of tonight, he is the first and only person to serve 20 years as a county commissioner. and he was also the first president of the Wakulla Youth Fair Association. One of the first I'd like to mention, in 1955, he was among the first group of men to form the Panther Club. One of their first objectives was to place lights on the Crawfordville football field. The first night game ever played was on 23 November 1955 against Sopchoppy. Now, with all due respect to the commissioner from Sopchoppy, but if you guessed that Crawfordville scored their first ever victory over Sopchoppy, you would be correct. So that was the first ever Crawfordville victory over Sopchoppy. I'll close by relating that J.D. Turner was the unanimous selection of the Rotary Club to receive the 1994-95 Service Above Self Award. At the awards banquet, President Suzanne Fields said, "Mr. Turner, Mr. J.D., as we all know him, has given of himself to the community in the countless hours of unpaid time and the hundred of thankless deeds that he has generously performed. The citizens of Wakulla County have been blessed with an individual as giving and dedicated as Mr. J.D. Those of us who have shaken his hand or caught his eye are certainly aware that his handshake is his word is his commitment, and his commitment is his service." So you might ask, why did the word first keep coming up tonight? It's very simple. Wakulla County and the citizens of Wakulla were always first in the heart of J.D. Turner. He is very deserving of this honor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Chuck Turner?
Kind of hard to top up the day with all that.
Okay.
If I may, I mean, he mentioned some of the accolades. I mean, this gentleman did a lot for this county. I mean, you got to think back to the old days. I mean, he's one of those kind of guys that was sort of the cornerstone of the fabric of our community and made it what it is today. So without gentlemen like your dad and granddad and father-in-law, we wouldn't be where we are today. So we want to thank you for that. This is just a small part of what we can do to thank you. And I hope somebody will remember me. Like, I'm amazed at the biography that Mr. Wilson has put together on J.D. Turner. He has a volume, a book, if you want, of information on him that's just amazing. I hope, Randy, you know me best, so when I finally check out, I want you to do the same for me one day. So.
You've already got two roads named after you, Walmart and Commerce Boulevard.
Well, the one in Commerce Boulevard is not after me, so.
That's M. Stewart.
Yeah. That's Mary Stewart.
Just saying, not saying anything.
Anyway, that said, we appreciate Mr. Turner, and we hope that this will get approved in the legislature, and we'll see that sign go up, and we appreciate that.
So this will be changing the name of the road, so everybody on the road will have to get their mortgages.
So they'll have to change anything that's got their address on it.
Just like when we changed Lower Bridge to MLK, no different.
Okay.
And this is the state's going to make the ultimate decision on
Right,
this.
not us.
Oh, that's.
Chairman,
Yes.
would it be the resolution, if you do a resolution that goes to DOT or wherever, would it say J.D. Memorial Highway, or did you check that out?
Yes.
So
It's
that's-
going, the way they've written the bills, they've already introduced the bill.
Yeah.
Is that, well, they're waiting on us after tonight, they
Yeah.
will. It'll say, it'll be named, it won't be Bloxham Cutoff anymore, it'll be J.D. Turner Highway.
Highway, okay.
Okay, any more comments? All in
Hey,
favor?
the sewer, we're going to the sewer plant after you when you're gone.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
I think we ought to name it after Randy right now.
He used to have that job.
Something after Randy right now.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Mike used to say he was the hockey commissioner, remember that, Mike?
I was the #1 commissioner in the #2 business.
That's right.
But how long have you been here?
You don't want
Have
to
you
know.
beat him yet?
No, it'd
Beat
take
the 20 years?
another term to match him.
Okay. Where we're rolling.
But
Okay.
my career is a lot in the politics is much like his. I got beat the same number of times so far as he did, and come back, and so it's been a rocky road, but worth it.
Yep.
All right. So next is public hearings.
Yes, item 10 this evening is a request for the board's approval to conduct a public hearing and adopt an ordinance amending section 24.053 of the Wakulla County Code pertaining to the Planning Commission membership.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any citizens? So, we had this before, going back to it this way, so, any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
George Hernandez. That's
No,
not,
that's not this item.
That's number 11. That's tab 11.
I'll keep it. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Planning and zoning.
Mr. Chairman, the first item up is an application for home occupation, HO 1901, Louis and Joanne Hernandez, sorry. In accordance with Section 24.01 of the code, each commission member needs to disclose any ex parte communications you may have received regarding this item. Commissioner Merritt.
Talk to you about it.
None.
No.
No.
None.
If there is anyone here who, including the applicant, who's going to provide any information on this application, please stand up to be sworn.
Whoever filled that card out.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Can you swear in somebody under 18?
I just did.
Motion to approve.
Second.
This is, okay, for the people in the audience, this is a home business by a citizen, a younger citizen of our county that wants to do a paper shredding operation. It shouldn't have any impact on the local neighborhood because everything will be pulled in and pulled out in one day, or by the individuals. There won't be any added traffic. There shouldn't be any disposal, extra waste disposal, so it shouldn't be an issue for anybody in the local area.
Sawmill. Right. What's the name of the subdivision?
That's the Walker's Mill subdivision
Walker's
off
Mill
of
subdivision.
MLK.
So, I think it's going to pass 5-0, so...
Don't have to talk if you don't want to, is what he's trying to say.
Do you want to talk? He said if needed, so that's why.
Okay.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
I'd like to make a comment.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna support it, and I appreciate you bringing it forward for sure. But to be honest with you, I think in today's time, we should eliminate this. You know, to me, it's a bit offensive that someone has to ask permission to do a business like this in their home. We have people all over this county that are cooking cakes and you know, cookies and doing similar home-based businesses that they don't have to come ask our permission, or maybe our rules require that they should, but they don't. You know, I'm gonna support it 100%, but I'd like for us to bring this thing back and kill this thing.
Sounds like a good agenda item for the commissioner.
Let's put it out to pasture. I mean, if there's buy-in, if you guys agree.
Fine.
Is
I know there's people sitting down in the audience right now that work out of their house, me being one of them.
They're all over.
Ask about it.
They're all over the county.
Yeah,
You know,
the issue, I think the issue here is if you're going to have it and you're going to have traffic entering a neighborhood and creating a traffic issue, I think that's why this was put in there.
Personally, we all have our own opinion. Those are things that need to be dealt with in a neighborhood that has covenants and restrictions. And if you have a neighborhood that will not allow you to bring your dump truck home or whatever, then that needs to be handled in the neighborhood. We've got a lot of rural areas all over the county that no one cares. No one cares about this, and it's not going to impact anybody. And so, you know, to make these folks jump through these hurdles, to me, is just government overreach.
Talk it over with someone, because there are things.
There are reasons for having this,
Well, I mean,
approval.
I guess what I'm looking for is I can stand on my principles, but if there's any buy-in, I'll bring something back, you know. But
I mean, I'm interested to talk about it, but I don't think at this point just say blanket, because some people, I'm not gonna say who, work out of their houses and
A lot of
do
people
involve a lot of equipment and stuff like that. It may be
There's a
not
lot
as
of,
appropriate in a neighborhood.
there's conditions that would make it inappropriate in a neighborhood.
yeah, but to me, there's a big distinction between what goes on inside your house
Yes,
and what goes
you're
on
right.
outside
You're
your
right.
house.
You're right, and maybe that's the draw-off line.
And that's what we're talking about, is that they can have an impact on their neighbors, okay? And this is to eliminate the ones that have an impact on the
I want
neighbors.
somebody having a semi-delivery in this neighborhood.
Right, or if he's running a sawmill in Songbird, you know, certainly the neighbor's not going to like that. I get that. But this
But
is
if we don't-
happening inside the house, there's not gonna be.
And maybe that's the qualifier. If you're
Yeah.
inside, you're not generating extra traffic, then you don't need to come before the board.
Right.
Well, that, if you make it that specific, I can see it.
You're
Okay.
just talking about bringing it back for discussion, correct?
Right.
Okay, so that's no brainer. Let's roll with it.
Okay, all in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. That was a lot of work for that, right?
Thank y'all for doing that for your sister, though. That's great.
You can leave if you want. Don't feel embarrassed.
Or you can stay.
It's not
We're
that
having so much
exciting.
fun tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Tab 13 has been pulled from the agenda. The next
12.
item.
12 is
12, sorry. The next one is tab 13. Tab 12 was pulled. This is an application for a change of zoning.
Not you, Sierra.
R1910. RMDC Inc. is the applicant. In accordance with the code, each commission member should disclose any ex parte communications you may have received regarding this application. This is the one that will rezone from townhouse residential to high-density
No.
residential.
Quincy.
No, I have not. I'm sorry.
None.
Got me so flustered tonight.
Didn't you talk to the applicant before the application came in? I don't think it's a big deal, but,
Yes, you're right, I did.
okay.
Thank you for correcting me.
If there is anyone here who's going to provide any information on this application, please stand up to be sworn. Please raise your hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
This application for change of zoning is on a 2.34 acres of land, which is made up of 24 platted lots within the Camelot Phase 3 subdivision. The request is to rezone from RTH residential townhomes to HDR high-density residential. The purpose of this rezoning is to change the allowable structures to go from a minimum 3 attached structures to 2 attached structures. This application will not increase density or intensity in any way, shape, or form. All infrastructure needed to serve the proposed lots will be, is currently already in place: sewer, water, and paved roads.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any citizens? So this is in town plan. It's just a change in the way they can build on the parcel. No change in density. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
The next item, tab 14, is an application for final plat. This is FP 1902. This is Stillwood subdivision. Golden Construction Company is the applicant. If you have any ex parte communications,
Final plat.
yes?
Whatever. No.
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 I don't recall ever having to do that on final plat.
All QJ items.
All QJ items. If there's anyone here who's going to provide any information on this application, please stand up to be sworn. If you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you.
This application for final plat approval is for a 4-lot residential subdivision on 11.8 acres located north of Commerce Boulevard on the east side of Woodville Highway. The Planning Commission approved the preliminary plat for this property in in July of this year, and no associated infrastructure was required to be installed to serve this development. However, it will be connected to the City of Tallahassee's central water system that is currently available to this site.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have Mr. Miller here if anybody has any questions. I would say that this is a great site for commercial, so it's, all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
All right, the next item is tab 15. This is also an application for final plat. This is FP 1903. This is for Alexander Point subdivision. Golden Construction Company is also the applicant. If there's any ex parte communications, please disclose.
About the final plat approval, right?
Yes.
No.
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 Okay. You're already sworn, you're continuing to be sworn. Is there anybody else? Nope. Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
This at Alexander Road in Braywinkle.
That's correct. This is 6-lot residential subdivision.
Just if needed, right? Okay. Residential subdivision inside town plan. Looks good. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Good job, Robbie.
Number 16.
Tab 16, this is an application for final plat FP 1904. This is for Hurricane Cove subdivision. Forgotten Waters LLC is the applicant. If there are any...
No.
None?
None.
None?
None.
None. If there's anyone here who's going to provide any information on this application, please stand up to be sworn.
Do I need to be sworn again, Heather? I don't see the
Nope,
applicant here.
and the applicant's not here. You're good to go.
Very good. So this is a 4-lot residential subdivision. It is made up originally of 4 lots in the Sopchoppy River Estate subdivision. This is a replat adjusting the boundaries of those 4 lots into 4 quarter-acre tracts. This boundary adjustment is as a result of a previous taking by DOT for future right-of-way, rendering 2 of the lots unbuildable.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Is there sewer on these?
There is not sewer available.
So this was approved before?
This was, the plat in this form was approved by the board in 2005. The applicant was a previous property owner at that time. They failed to record that plat in the public records, and so it has set rather stagnant. The only change in this plat versus what was approved by the board in 2005 is the property owner's name and the removal of a joinder from the plat.
But the original town of Sopchoppy was platted long, long time ago.
That is correct. It was a 1958 plat.
Okay, so this is just cleaning up some old business. So, any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Already took care of Mr. Stewart's agenda item. County Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just have one item tonight. We're requesting board approval to engage conflict counsel and approval of the legal services agreement with Messer Caparello. This is to represent a county employee in a recently filed complaint with the Florida Commission on Ethics that I cannot represent them on.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Not much we can talk about this, so all in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
I just went through something similar to this.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't fun.
I've been through 4.
But mine wasn't paid for. Mine wasn't with the county. It was personal.
Yeah.
Personal. All right. County Administrator.
Yes, this is a reminder to the public as well as to you commissioners, and I sent out an agenda request. August 27th, which is next, not this Tuesday, but the next Tuesday, 7 p.m. at the community center is a community presentation on the budget as well as a discussion with the public. So I want to make sure that as many folks come up, we'll have the sign our message board up on that as well we have an article in the paper run on it. And it's a publicly noticed meeting, so if you guys want to talk, all of you can get there and you can say something if you so choose. So but just to let you know and let the public know, please come. It's a chance for you to understand county government, where your dollars go to and where they don't go to and how we do things. And it's really good presentation. You'll learn a lot. We welcome every question. If you got a question, please ask. We will be glad to do that. And so anyway, that's the
How many
main
people
thing.
went last year?
We had 5 citizens.
Okay, so if anybody else wants to come, five more come, it would double.
But, it's like anything else. Those 5 left there understanding how how government works and how we work and how transparent we are. And that fob spread that message, which made a big difference. So
Put your calculator.
that meant a lot. Yes, ma'am.
Is Brandy going to do the buckets and cups? Because I'm certain that will at least triple the participation. Yes?
Brandy has come quite famous on her buckets
She
and cups.
has.
She should have patented that.
She really should have.
If one more person shows up, that'll be a
You'll
20%
come.
increase. I just added.
One more person shows up, Brandy
But,
comes.
well, all joking aside, it is a great presentation, and you'll learn a lot, but also with questions. We're there to answer questions, and whatever you want to ask, that's what we're paid by you, and we understand that. So, other than that, that's it.
Okay. I'll let you
Hey,
start tonight.
I think we all probably got this in our mailbox. You guys have seen it. I want to make sure the public knows about it as well. The Forestry Service is looking for input on potential changes of use for Wood Lake Recreation Area here in Wakulla County,
It's in Choppy, right, David? It's now Wood Lake Road.
That's right.
and also Whitehead Lake over in Liberty County. There's several options that's listed on here. The most extreme options in both cases is to shut down all camping, all hunting, and I think the boat ramps.
Not hunting, shut down
The
hunting for campers.
Campers,
I
right.
mean, I'm sorry.
Camping for hunters. Right. I mean, there's several options on here, but they are seeking input for about 30 days. Let's see, this is August 8th, so I guess we have until about September 8th.
And my Smith Creek history is kind of bad, but I think Whitehead Lake is right across Three Bridges
Right across
Road
the bridge.
on the left.
It is.
And
But they're
those
still
are,
going to keep the boat ramps open. They haven't suggested closing the boat ramps.
Right, but the proposal is to potentially eliminate all camping in both locations. So if you're interested in that, I guess, will we have this on the county's website that they can pull this information off? Or maybe send it out through our public notices?
We can definitely do that, can't we, Jessica?
That's what you want to do.
Yep, yes. yes.
I think we should make sure people can get this in their hands, because this is one of those opportunities. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
do you want to address this as a board? I sent a personal, this is about, basically, in the camping area, people are digging holes, and there's an archaeological site,
At the Wood Lake site.
Wood Lake site, and
Yeah.
if they just wouldn't dig holes, there wouldn't be a problem. And
Right.
so, there should be ways to harden it and put a campsite host out there, and they wouldn't have to close the campgrounds.
Right.
What are they digging the holes for?
Artifacts.
Really? Okay.
Digging up
Well,
the
the
artifacts.
yellow flies close it 2 months a year, really.
Exactly.
There's a big mound out there.
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't know that, Smith Creek?
Yeah.
This is Choppy. Whitehead's in Smith Creek.
So,
No, I mean, I certainly, if we take action as a board, I certainly would be interested. I guess we got
I just commented that they should be able to harden the site, and I would be happy to do it as commissioner, if you want, to comment that we would like them to harden the site and try to keep the campsite open.
Mike's phone vibrating.
No, it's mine. You're welcome.
Yeah, I certainly would support that.
Jerry never noticed his vibrating either.
I'm fine with that. I think that's a good idea.
You go with
I
that?
camp there, so.
Yeah.
Try to put Mike in the category of Jerry every
Okay, I got
time he
a head nod, I can write a letter on that.
Sure.
Okay. All right,
Does the letter have to come back to the board, or you're gonna draft?
this is, that's what I'm gonna
Are we
say.
drafting the letter for you to sign, or?
That would be,
Well,
think-
you're gonna have specifics. Why don't you draft a letter?
I think we have time for it to come back. We
Yeah.
bring it back at our September meeting and let's
September
approve.
9th, and this has to be in September.
Take it on
8th.
consent or something.
Yeah, your next meeting is September 10th.
Oh, okay, no, we don't have time there.
We don't have time.
Okay.
I'm fine with Chuck writing a letter.
I'm just gonna say, try to keep the campsite open, basically.
Harden the artifact site and keep the site open.
Okay.
I agree with that.
All right.
Do we need to vote on that?
Let's
All in
go ahead and
favor?
vote. Yeah, I'll make a
Aye.
motion to that extent.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nope. Motion adjourned.
Well, now I have one thing. So, I've been advocating of these enhanced and passive, septic tank systems, and we can do them right now, everywhere but in priority focus area 1, which is our springs protection zone. But if you can get the opportunity, before the money is all gone, if you're in the right kind of soils that are, in priority focus area basically 2, you can get a free drain field out of this, and which is a real advantage to you, because this passive system can be installed in that area, and the passive system will act just like your current septic tank, and
No
you don't,
pumps,
no
no-
pumps, no nothing. You just
No engineer.
put it in the ground and walk away. Okay, and so.
How are we coming on revising our comp plan so that would,
It's coming forward.
So, for the citizens, if you're in that area of the county, this is a great way to protect Wakulla Springs and save yourself a bunch of money. All right?
motion adjourned?
We're adjourned.
David?